Hey, everyone. Welcome to a winning edition, again, of the Bolt Crew podcast. Chargers win on the road against Cleveland 27-10, an impressive showing in a lot of aspects. Some of the things to be concerned about, like there are in every single game, but overall, very positive as the team wins 27-10, Josh. And didn't even think about it as we got ready for the shows this week that we say every time it seems like the team goes, back east and there's a time change of 3 hours, you always are a little bit concerned. Chargers kind of lucked out. I mean, they got the extra hour of sleep, which like nothing ever benefits the Chargers. The biggest thing I can say is from the Chargers of today and the Chargers that we've seen from years past is that it looks like it's coming together. Like a lot of teams, as I'm watching games today, you could see where they're kind of throwing the towel in. It's not even Thanksgiving, and guys are just playing out the season. You can see it on other NFL rosters. You can see it in the Browns today. But the Chargers are a team right now that's going in the right direction. And of course, since they got the win, Josh, as you begin to talk, and Mario, you begin to talk, the victory cigar Sunday. So here we go.
Nice. So as Dave said, great win. I'm very happy about today's win, Mario. I thought this was the best game the Chargers played altogether. Taking away the Carolina Panthers game, you're never going to talk about an NFL team like they don't belong in the league. But yeah, the Carolina Panthers barely belong in the NFL, even though they're beating the Saints right now. This was the best game the Chargers, I think, have played all around. A little upsetting at the beginning with the interior offensive line. Then you have the tackles, saying, can anybody on this offensive line block at all? And then Justin Herbert just made some amazing throws. The defense picked off Jameis Winston like we said would happen. Jameis Winston's going to throw you the ball. You just got to catch it. And the team, I thought as a whole, Mario, played great.
Yeah, very impressed with the team today. Very impressed with the team win. You mentioned it. The Ravens didn't catch the interceptions that Jameis threw. We caught them. And, we didn't score on those, but they took advantage of it. Herbert comes in, has another insanely great game, steps up big, 264 pass yards at half. If you would have told me that in week 3, I would say you're high and you're on the strongest strain there is on the planet. But no, here we are in week 9, another big win. Quinn Johnston, Dave, came back and he played great. Joey Bosa had the pressure. Morgan Fox had a couple of sacks. I mean, it was just a tough day to be a Cleveland Brown fan too, by the way. Like Jameis comes in, there's new excitement. That excitement's left the building, man. I mean, that your heart got stomped out today.
There are a lot of guys you could give game balls to, right? I'm kind of curious to know, like, what does Jim Harbaugh focus on? Morgan Fox is getting a game ball today, right? Mm-hmm. He's getting a game ball. There are a lot of guys that did the right thing. I don't want to take anything away from Quentin Johnson or anyone else that did their job. I mean, we have to do our job to figure out a way to put points on the board. But Cleveland was not a good team, right? So that's not a shot. Quentin Johnson, his numbers were insane. But the blown coverage, as you saw in an NFL game today, usually don't see what the Browns were able to do to help the Chargers out. The deal is the Chargers have to react to realize when those coverages are blown. So no problem right there for me. Again, it's not a shot. I don't want people to think, oh, you guys are negative. It's a win, and you're taking shots. QJ did what he was supposed to do, which is great. He looked like an NFL player. His speed is out of this world, right? We all know we just got to get the ball into his hands, and his speed is out of this world. The disappointing things we'll get into, I'm sure, when we talk about, hey, all the sacks that you gave up. But, man, it was more than just, hey, we're going to win 27-10 and Justin Herbert's going to continue to play the best football of his career. It's the culture that you've finally seen, for me at least, of when they named that Jim Harbaugh was going to be the head coach, what you expected was going to be different in the organization. It's just different. As I said, I have Red Zone up right now, and I'm watching different games around the NFL, and I'm sitting there looking at that girl at the end of the game sitting next to that guy in the stands in Cleveland. And I'm like, honey, you got to dump that guy. And if you're married to him, you got to divorce him. You're hooked up with a loser. And if you're with a Browns fan, that guy is a loser. He's always going to be a loser. He doesn't have high aspirations. I mean, you got to go somewhere else. You got to jump on the winning train if you want a better life, because right now your life's headed for Loserville forever. And I'm looking at it going, she's spending a Sunday afternoon, probably in her off day, with this bum. And this bum team that you're going to sit there and watch, that's it. We always say, man, the Chargers are the team of Los Angeles for the young fans. These are the people that jump on the bandwagon that say the Rams are already established, but the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh and the new facility and everything that they're going to be. This is the young team in LA for the young fans, and this is where winners want to hang out. So get on it right now. You guys can sit there and say in a few years when we see you at the parade, hey, I've been a Charger fan forever. I might say BS, but at the same time, I'm going to sit there with open arms and say, welcome aboard. because that's the way it is. We need more and more of you to sit there and join us. Uniforms look cool. Dude, your boyfriend, your husband are the losers with those crappy uniforms. It's embarrassing. I mean, you spent a Sunday rooting on Jameis Winston with a charity touchdown at the end. Sad. Really sad.
Really sad. I didn't think you were going to go that direction, Dr. Phil, but thanks for adding that in. The Chargers, concerning at the beginning with the sacks, right? Myles Garrett basically takes over the game at one point, and you're thinking, where's this going to head? Are the Chargers going to be overmatched, right? And then the Chargers completely dominate the Browns for most of the game. The Chargers give up 6 sacks, but they also have 6 sacks, Mario. Khalil Mack, to me, is everything for this team. Derwin James is right there, too. It looks like Derwin James is a complete team captain, leading the entire defense. Khalil Mack is kind of the guy that leads by example, it seems like, even though the mic'd up he had last week was awesome. Did you notice during the broadcast today that Jesse Minter was quoted by saying, "I love being around 2 great players in Derwin James and Khalil Mack"? Did anybody catch that?
Yeah, of course.
He didn't mention Joey Bosa. He didn't mention Bosa, but the Chargers have 6 sacks. Mar, was that the most impressive thing to you today? Was it Quentin Johnston having a really good game? Was it Justin Herbert doing what he does every week, it seems like?
The Herbert thing, it's like I don't want to take it too much for granted because it's so special, like what he's doing, and just with this receiving core that we have right now, it's incredible, and it's what we've been wanting him to do, right? Like we've mentioned so many times, we've seen Josh Allen do so much stuff for the receiving core that's not great. We've seen Brady over the years is credited to making a receiving core that's okay look great, and Herbert's doing that right now with Ladd and Quint Johnson. Because let's be honest, if Derek Carr had Quint Johnston and Ladd McConkey, they wouldn't be talked about tomorrow throughout the day in fantasy, as young players that are going to be, on the come up in the league. They're talked about like that because of Justin Herbert. I don't want to say he was like most impressive because now I'm just expecting him to do this stuff. I think for me, guys, it was the secondary as a whole, and I called him out before, but like the way they were just attacking the football today and breaking on the ball, I thought was exceptional. Like every time the receiver broke out of the route and Jameis was putting it on him, they were there. Like they were stuck on him. They're on him like glue. And I think that was a huge, huge part in the reason why they won today. And also, I want to give a quick shout out to Quinn Johnston too, Dave. His route running looked, I don't know if he just changed it at all or anything, but his route running looked better today. The out route that he had, that I believe he caught on the 3rd down, I want to say. I could be wrong on that. But it was one route where I was just like, God, I don't think he would have done that earlier in the weeks. It's a clear improvement that he's made.
Yeah, for people aren't looking at the box score, he ended up 4 receptions, 118 yards, a touchdown. So he was targeted 5 times and 4 receptions. That's much better than what you expect, right? Or what it should look like, I should say, for an NFL wide receiver. It shouldn't be targeted 8 times, 3 receptions. It means you aren't creating space. Justin Herbert arguably is playing the best I've ever seen him play. I think everybody sees it. I think the broadcasters who are national guys are walk away from there going, man, Justin Herbert's elite. We all thought he was an elite. He hasn't gotten a chance to show that he's one of the elite quarterbacks that you should be talking about in this league. But the last few weeks, he's playing his best football, and it looks great. You can say whatever you want. It's the Browns, it's the Saints, whatever you want to say. It's the NFL. And if they can continue to move in this direction, then you know what? They are going to continue to get better. But going back to your point, Mario, the defensive backs, I want to point back at the interception in the end zone, the tipped interception, and how outstanding of a play that was. Number one, the Browns are sitting there trying to get some kind of momentum going. Tip play, interception, and then the wherewithal to sit down in the end zone. How many times have we seen guys go, and it's about me now, watch this. Oh, I swear I just got tackled on the 7. You know what I mean? It wasn't, though. It was like, boot, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. Marlon McCree's like, what are you doing? Run. But at the same time, those are the kind of plays that smart defensive players do. Those are the kind of things where coaching comes into. This is what happens when you get a turnover. And look, there's a reason why you're a defensive back and you aren't a wide receiver. You aren't supposed to have the greatest hands. And we see fumbles that happen afterwards. Man, it was unselfish. It was strong football. It was everything you could possibly hope for. And so many things happen in the game today are things that we've fought about and kicked trash cans and yelled at our neighbors about because the team let us down on a Sunday. Late at night, we're walking around and just randomly scream out the F word. But that's not what happened today. Like, we look different, right? We look different. We look like we belong. And man, I know they're baby steps, but this is what you're supposed to do when you get on that plane and you change 3 time zones and go, this is it, or 3 hours, I should say. But here's the deal, man. I'm very happy and very satisfied with what I saw today. This was a big step going forward. And not to get ahead of ourselves, they have the Titans next week. You know, you got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat.
You got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. We just broke a record, by the way. Mario and I are talking about it in the private chat. Dave doesn't have his glasses on, so he can't see. We just broke a super chat record. Okay, I'll fill you in. 200 Swiss franc, which equates to $230.
Is that right?
Dude, amazing.
These weren't pesos this time?
Not pesos. It's from the Bold Bolt. Let's try saying that.
Bold Bolt.
There you go. Well, not the Super Bowl yet, but you guys gave me so many hours of laugh, joy, and interesting thoughts. I just want to say thank you for putting in so much into this podcast and making my Charger life easier. Greetings from Switzerland. Dude, you are
awesome.
Fan of the week.
Yeah.
For the
legend.
year. Absolutely. Yeah, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
If you need a kidney, I got you.
Yeah, Mario has 2 of them. If you need one of them, let him know.
They're not great.
Do you think David Njoku's gonna come to the Chargers now? You saw him today. I think he's the best receiving threat on that team. Jameis Winston had an issue getting him the ball, but do you think there's any chance he ends up with the Chargers now? The game's over.
Ah, man, I really hope so, because he's got to be a little frustrated after today going, this is the Jameis we all know him to be and love him to be, right? Like 3 picks, should have been 5 today. And you're going, what's the silver lining here? What's going to get better here in Cleveland? Because right now, nothing looks like it's going to be better. Let's be honest, guys, like the 6 sacks in the first half, that was everything the defense could have done for this team, right? Like, let's be honest, like the defense was giving them everything they could. And the offense just goes, to help you guys out, we're going to put that offense right back on the field and make sure that you guys get some more playing time. You know, we want to make sure that you guys really get your workout in today. I hope so, Dave. I hope it happens. But, we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of chaos that's going to ensue on this deadline because there's just more and more stuff coming out. And before I even toss it to you, I want to bring back up something that you mentioned with the interceptions today. Big sign and improvement from last year. I think they learned the lesson in the Cardinals game that when you get a turnover, it's not about the return, it's about securing the turnover and just go down, right?
Yeah.
Lesson learned. You saw that today. We got the turnover. Just go down. We don't need a circle around the field, 1,000 freaking times to get 2 yards. We don't need that. Just secure the football. Massive improvement that would not happen under Staley, but will happen under Harbaugh.
Dude, man, I'm so excited by what I saw. I mean, look, everybody wants to score a touchdown. I don't care who you are. You can be an offensive lineman. Hey, man, I'd love to score a touchdown in one day. Defensive players, man, we talk about the egos that cornerbacks have, especially. They want to score a touchdown. Again, to be unselfish, it was a big play. It was a big, to me, turning the corner of what this team is about, which means putting the team first. I'm one of those guys that believes, and it sounds corny as hell and go and get off my lawn guy. I don't even like names on the back of jerseys until you prove you can play for the team first. And then you earn that name on the back. You know what I mean? Like you hear teams saying, we aren't going to put the logo of the school or whatever on the side of the helmet until you prove you can win a certain amount of games or do whatever. But I'm one of those guys, man, team first all the time. You can hear me in the show. I say it all the time when I criticize certain players that don't seem like they want to play. That's why it kills me when a guy like Khalil Mack gets hurt at the end of a game. And you can see he's frustrated and he throws stuff and he's sitting and, that's one of those where you're going, man, here's a guy that gives us everything. Even though Khalil Mack's been in the league 11 seasons and only a few with us, there's not a Charger fan out there that has not adopted him as one of your all-time favorites. There's no way, right? He is one of your all-time favorites if you're a Charger fan because he knows he gives you everything you can. Everyone who watches that game or listens to this stupid show sits there and says, at one point in my life, I wanted to be a pro football player. I ran around in the backyard with my brothers and my friends and said, this is who I am. I'm Junior Seau. I'm whoever running around in the backyard. Throw me the ball. I'm Malcolm Floyd, whatever your favorite was. But, man, when you sit there and you realize you couldn't make it one day and go, man, I kind of suck. Not that good. Khalil Mack's one of those guys that becomes your favorites because in your mind, you believe if I had a chance to play, I would have played the way that guy plays in your dreams.
Khalil Mack and Derwin James are on my list of favorite Chargers defensive players of all time. I love watching those two guys play. Khalil Mack getting hurt. I mean, obviously we don't have much information right now. We're going to be looking for that. He gets hurt. Junior Colson's in a walking boot. And then you have Fehoko, who looks like he's out for a long time. Those are concerning things. Also, Cameron Dicker probably had his worst game ever as a pro.
Dude,
He missed
what
2
the
kicks. He
hell?
never misses kicks. I know he never
Really?
misses.
He misses our
What?
extra points lately. What the F?
He
Like
does.
when his
Yeah.
nickname is Dick, guess what? They mean it now. Like, dude, stop missing extra points.
I feel like Cameron Dicker is like really good in the games we lose, and then like when we
Yeah.
win, he's not great. But obviously Dustin Hopkins revenge game. I don't know. He's on the Brown side today, but Cameron Dicker, obviously, I'm not concerned about him. J.K. Dobbins, to me, we're talking about comeback player of the year. He has to be one of the favorites also for comeback player of the year. This guy was hurt all the time, could not stay healthy. To me, he's a top 5 running back in the NFL. I thought he had another really good game today. When we're talking about what you need, Mario, for this team going into the trade deadline, because it's coming up in a couple days, interior offensive line might be at the very top for me. Then it'd be tight end and then receiver last. I mean, DJ Chark still doesn't exist, right? He gets activated off IR. We still don't know if he exists. He's the Loch Ness Monster. Brendan Rice goes on IR. Interior offensive line is obviously a huge problem. A catching tight end is something we desperately need. Hayden Hurst, where are you at, bud? And then the receivers, to me, I thought were okay today, Mario. Josh Palmer looked pretty good. I thought Ladd McConkey is still wide receiver 1, even though QJ has a really good game. Fajoko's now hurt. You have Brendan Rice that's on IR. Maybe you just grab somebody that's going to be, just in the rotation. Maybe not wide receiver 1, just to have some depth on the roster. I don't know. How do you look at it?
I think that's big, right? Like, you're not going to get your receiver 1 in this. Like, Deontay Johnson's not like a receiver 1. Like, a guy at his level, it's just not it. But like, you're going to get pretty reliable receiver 2 in it. And I do kind of get your thing about receiver maybe being last there, because just the way they've been playing, it's looked cleaner. And if we get Palmer to be anything that he can be, it's, the Chargers could be set. And just the improvement that Ladd makes week to week, Quinn Johnson makes week to week, there's something brewing. There's something really cooking there that's going to be really special. And for the tight end spot, the tight end screens that we run work great, right? Where if it's for Hurst, Disley, like there's success on them. Like they gain a good amount of yardage. Now imagine that play with, let's just be honest, with the tight end that's actually supposed to catch the football and actually supposed to get yak, and that's actually supposed to be the other side of the tight end besides blocking. Like, imagine how great that would be, right? Exceptional. And towards the interior O-line, yes, we do need help. And yes, I know the 6 sacks is bad, but I think, Dave, I want to give a little credit to, like, Myles Garrett's also on a different level. You know what I mean? And when he's rolling, it's just one of those where you have to like tip your cap and go, that's one of the best football players in the league. What are you going to do? Now, they should chip him and, maybe help our guys out. But like, I think sometimes those moments, it's just the tip your hat and go, this guy is just, it's special. He's on a different planet.
I think Myles Garrett literally was playing today to get out of there. Like, I'm going to watch this. Yeah, like, watch this. This is for every team in the league that has a chance to go into the postseason. Watch the game I'm about to have. He's great. I mean, we all know why he was the number 1 overall pick for a reason. He's outstanding. Man, it was not a good sign for us. Obviously, that part was frustrating. It's really the most negative thing in there that we can say. And by the way, the way it works in today's day and age, and for anyone who works in an office, that you have that fob, to get into different rooms when you go into the office. Who the hell has Fioco's fob for the weight room? Because they're clicking that bad boy, but he's not walking in. Like, I'm watching him walk up that field with a busted elbow or whatever the hell it was. And I'm like, dude, I think you have not done weight day at all. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. They're high school kids in 10th grade that have more developed arms than that guy. Like, somebody has his fob. I want answers. What the hell's going on over there, Fioco?
Dude, he's probably the strongest receiver on the team. So I'm pretty sure he can kick you have one arm right now. I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
He has one arm too. You guys could have a one-arm fight. You guys have a one-arm fight against each other.
Clap contest, state of white. Where are we at?
Yeah, dude, we're even now. He has a busted arm. I got a busted arm.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Make that happen.
Let's grab each other by the top of the shirt and start wailing.
A lot more testosterone for both of you too with that injury.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm all in favor of when somebody gets hurt, that when somebody else steps up, they can take someone's spot. I don't think just because you get hurt, you have to retain your spot when you come back. The reason I bring that up, Mario, is Asante Samuel Jr. Tarheeb still is really good.
Really good.
Like, really good. Like, I'm not sure Asante Samuel Jr. retains the privilege of being on the field all the time once he comes back from injury. Do you think he assumes the position as, cornerback 1? Obviously, Christian Fulton's hurt right now as well, but I've been super happy with the way Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart have looked out there.
I think it's all based off matchup, right? Like I think if we go into a certain week and like we have the Titans next week, if they we feel more comfortable with Tyreeb on Ridley than we do, Asante, they're gonna go that route, right? Like I think it's gonna be really matchup dependent. And I also think Harbaugh is one of those coaches, and Minter is one of those coaches too, where you don't lose your job to injury. And I think they're gonna give him a fair shot, Dave, to come back and like kind of regain it. You know what I mean?
Honestly, God, I don't know whoever came up with the whole idea of, hey, you don't lose your job because of injury. Like, it really is the dumbest thing ever. I mean, why would you draw your line in the sand and let that be known to anybody? No, you lose your job to injury. Whoever steps in might surprise us. We don't know. Why would anybody say that? That's an old thing in sports, which I just never understood. Then as a coach, you put yourself in a terrible position. Imagine if Bill Belichick had that whole deal with Bledsoe and Brady. Yeah, you don't lose your job because of injury. That's weird. That kid just jumped in and led us all the way to Super Bowl championship. We didn't even know who he was. Drew Bledsoe's our guy. And then all of a sudden, Bledsoe's back as a starting quarterback. Patriots fans would have freaked out. But Belichick knew what was best for the organization was you keep Brady in there. And then you figure out what you're doing next. So look, Asante Samuel, I'm sorry. But what do we say on this show all the time since we started? The best ability is availability. And that guy's available. And guess what? He's been playing great. And he was great today.
Yeah, great today. And the Chargers have really hit on this draft. Junior Colson's the only person so far that hasn't really produced consistently. I'm super happy. Mario, if I had to rate this draft, an A, maybe an A plus. Honestly, this Chargers draft is one of the best in Chargers history. You got Lad McConkey is your new wide receiver one. Joe Alt, he got abused sometimes by Myles Garrett, but he's really good. Then you have Still and Hart. I mean, this has to be one of the best drafts in Chargers history. I'm super happy, Mario, with the way it turned out. Jesse Minter, to me,
for the NFL also. Say? No, I'm saying for the NFL also, not just even the Chargers. If you look back at this draft, if you're a draft guy like the three of us are draft fans, Josh said it weeks ago on the show, this might be like the greatest draft of all time. Teams did a really good job getting their players to make a difference.
I think the draft is the easiest way to turn their team around. The Lions last year, right? They had Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta, and they drafted like three guys. Brian Branch, one of their best defensive players, all in the same draft. If you can have a great draft, you can really change your whole team around. Look at the Houston Texans, right? They got C.J. Stroud, and they traded the pick, and then they got Will Anderson right behind it. Yep. Will Anderson's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Chargers have always struggled in the draft, I believe. They've obviously hit on a few guys like Vincent Jackson, right, where they have, strong picks, but the Chargers have missed on so many guys, including Zion Johnson, first-round pick left guard. It's great to see that Joe Ortiz has taken the Baltimore Ravens approach of drafting great players consistently in his first draft. I mean, we can't really judge him yet as a great drafter, but if you are, it's an A+. Like, he's one of the best drafters in all the NFL.
It's a great building block, right? Like, for a guy this is his first draft in his first year with the team, oh my God, does it give you the most confidence in the world for the next draft, the next draft, the next one, right? And you mentioned like the Lions. Everyone credits them with that Jahmyr Gibbs draft class. Also, people got to remember the decisions made before them were great. Amon-Ra St. Brown, getting him later on, getting Penei Sewell, like the other decisions before that just kept building and building and building to where they are now. Like, that's what the Chargers are doing. And it's a step in an amazing direction. It's something that Charger fans, I think, you should be really proud of. And I know, we rip the Chargers a lot for, we call them out for, not making some of the moves that we think they should make. But at the same time, I think it's because we really want to win. But like, we also understand that something's being built that's not going to be just for 1 year. And, if it doesn't work out, sound the fire alarm. If you want an example, New York Jets are doing that to a T right now. So the Dallas Cowboys, but it's more of, hey, just because it didn't work out this year, we still have about 4 years for our window to hit and about 4 more years of winning.
Yeah, I tell you what, I want to ask you about Greg Roman. Okay, again, I want to stay away from as many negatives. So just on my end, because I get called out for it, and you guys aren't wrong. All right, on a lot of this stuff, I look for what can we do to be better all the time as a fan. But I'll say this, the 27-10 wins impressive, especially on the road, especially against a team that knocked off the Ravens, especially with the team that coming in said Jameis Winston gives us new hope. I don't think that a lot of people have hope today. Matter of fact, if I was the owner of the Browns, I'm sitting there going, I want to fire my GM and my head coach as fast as I can. Like, I don't know what direction our organization is going. We're we're lost right now. We're supposed to make major strides coming off of last year, and we're completely going back to the old Browns. So when you look at what the Chargers did, again, when you break it down by quarter, and it always concerns Charger fans, they scored 7 in the first, 13 in the second, 0 in the third. And you're going, God dang it, again, after halftime, we come out with a 0. We finished with 7 in the fourth, and that was the end of your scoring. The camera of Greg Roman, and the camera that's in his face. Like, that's Greg Roman. I know it's the NFL, but Jesus, dude, he looks like that guy that has the camera that comes off the top of his head that's here, and he's just running through the forest, like, doing that look with the light in his face. Dude, it looks so bad. Like, Greg Roman looks like he's having a panic attack right in front of all of us. I got news for you, Greg. On this side, we're all having a panic attack with you because we know you're the one calling the plays. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at Greg Roman. I'm going, somehow the NFL put the camera on somebody else. This never does well for him, for us. But the 0 points, in all seriousness, coming out of the half, does that concern you at all? Were you going, what the hell's the deal with us in the second half? I understand they make adjustments, but how come we can't make adjustments? Why don't we come out and punch them in the mouth?
It could have been 0 points in the second half if we didn't block that kick, because we had the ball right near the goal line. We just punched it right in. It could have been 0 points. It is concerning, right? Because when you play better teams, you need to score in the second half, obviously. To me, it's the number one concern on the team with the coaching staff is that we can't score in the second half consistently. Is that a Greg Roman problem? Is that I don't know what the problem is. I think the interior offensive line is obviously a huge issue too, Mario. Maybe
it is
Greg Roman with the offensive line. As the game goes on, you get tired. Seems like guys leak through the middle more. I don't know. How do you see it?
I mean, I see the second half scoring being a huge problem. I see it even being more of a problem in this game because we had those 3 turnovers and we didn't take advantage of it, right? Like, we just didn't. And you mentioned, like, the blocked field goal. We don't get that. It's probably not another 7 on the board. That was like a little glimmer of hope. It's like, all right, at least, like, it wasn't a turnover, but like it was a big mistake that they made that we were able to capitalize on. It's a problem. We're like not keeping the foot on the gas a little bit in the second half. Like, we're just not in that gear where you mentioned, Dave. We're like, it's not a punch you in the mouth. It's not a let's keep, put it on top of them. But I think also it goes to this, guys. I mean, how many games in a row now have we came to this show and going, the run game is just not where it was in the beginning of the year? Like, yes, J.K. Dobbins did have a good game today, but like, I still, as a team, guys, we finished with under 100 rushing yards.
That's surprising. Without looking at the box score, it feels like we had more than 100 rushing yards. Like, I feel like J.K. Dobbins did that on his own.
Yeah, he only had 85.
He had 85 rushing yards.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, that to me too is another one where it's like we're kind of creating an identity around it, but like we weren't able to do that this game against a defense that's like not spectacular. But also, Herbert's wheeling and dealing it.
He's wheeling and dealing it, is right. God dang, when we go back to Thursday and we did our picks to click, I should have picked J.K. Dobbins because he's an Ohio State guy, right? He's going back. He wants to play well in front of the people that cheered him on the hardest. I mean, there's a reason why Joey Bosa came out there and played his ass off today. And no, he didn't. He didn't. All those zeros.
He had a pressure. He had a pressure. He had a pressure.
Go look at the box score. It is 0, about 10 across until that one on the end that just says 1.
Okay.
It is.
He's hurt. Playing on limited snaps. Just saying.
This is last season.
I think it's hot take.
I think this is Joey Bosa's last season.
Should they do a retirement ceremony on the last game of the year, last home game, to bring Joey that big wooden rocking chair? Hey, it's Joey's last game. We want to thank him for his service.
His last game better be in the playoffs if this is his last year.
I'm not saying
honestly.
We're done with him. It's the last game with the Chargers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think Mark called it first.
Yeah, there's none of this. He goes to another team next year, and we say press release. We wish Joey all the best in his future endeavors. We don't. No, we aren't doing that. My point is, here's the deal, man. Do you need him? Do you not need him? If Joey could play the way we expect Joey to play, yeah, we need him. There's not a team in the NFL that would not take a healthy, in his prime Joey Bosa. But we don't depend on that every single week. So it is what it is.
I would sit him next week against the Titans. I know no game is a gimme, but the Titans are one of the worst teams in the NFL. You have Thule out there who's absolutely balling. He had 2.5 sacks today. If Khalil Mack's healthy, which we really are praying that he is, I would sit Joey Bosa. To me right now, he's the 4th best edge rusher on the team behind Bud Dupree as well. He just doesn't look the same. He's not contributing. He's just a body out there. Morgan Fox is a much better pass rusher at this point as well. So Joey Bosa to me should sit. I would really have him sit. Another guy that we need to talk about on the defense, though, two guys I want to bring up. Troy Dye had a hell of a game today.
Oh, yeah.
Troy Dye was awesome. Really was great. And then I mess up his first name all the time. Henley, okay? The middle linebacker, number 0. He had 14 tackles. He's one of the leading tacklers in the NFL. The guy is awesome. Isn't it amazing how we can never see the field last year under Brandon Staley, but he's one of the leading tacklers in the NFL in his second season, which is really like his first season because he never played last season.
You're right.
It's amazing, Mario. He's been awesome as well.
The player development and that, like, you just see that in 1 year, and a change in leadership, a change of coaches, huge. He played with energy today too, and played with passion. Dye had a huge tackle on that 4th and 3, where like it looked like he was going to get juked out of it, and then he just pulls him down, and I'm like, that's that Ben Herbert strength and conditioning, man. You know, that's that nut job over there on the sideline. That's probably like waiting for, you know, a player to come bump him and go, yeah, like, you know, he wants to put the helmet on. He's like the guy that punches you. Ben Herbert's the type of guy that gets in a fight with the football player, and he wants him to keep the helmet on so he can punch through the helmet. You know what I mean? Like, he's like that big of a nut job. And he gave a good spotlight to Morgan Fox. I loved his move today on one of his sacks where, like, he literally did a pause. It was like a running back pausing to find the hole. He literally did a pause, and then he went into his move and got the sack. He played, just another phenomenal game. I'm such a big Morgan Fox guy. He's a guy, like, he's a player where not every football fan knows him, but if you're a fan of the team, you know him and you love him, and that's Morgan Fox.
I'm with you. You know, it's funny right now as I'm talking to you guys, and you know, I'm on cloud 9. I'll be honest with you. I'm very excited about that win today and the way they went about it. But I'm watching the Packers-Lions game at the same time. One thing that the Lions do, it's amazing I ever give a compliment to the Lions. I mean, like, I've spent my entire life watching the Lions be the Lions, but the Lions players play like they want to be out there. The guys today all played like they really wanted to be there, you know, and man, that goes a long way. You know, when I see pro athletes that look like they're like, I know I get paid to do this, but this job's not great, but the money's great, so I'm going to continue to show up. I love the way, the enthusiasm that Dan Campbell has brought to the Lions, but at the same time, with guys who don't have that star power, there are a lot of stars on the Lions. There aren't a lot of recognizable names on this Charger roster. You had to appreciate what you saw. There are guys that they're whether you're a high school football coach that watch that game and go, dude, that's how you play. You got to play. And when Jim Harbaugh pulls I'm joking about it when they lost to Arizona, who has it better than us line, that's the way it feels, man, right now in that locker room. That plane flight home is going to be great. You know, they're going to go back tomorrow. They're going to look at film and they're going to put today's game behind them and have Tuesday off. And then Wednesday, those guys are going to be like, I can't wait to get back on the field again and do it again. This feeling is great. The difference of winning and losing in sports, and understand how hard it is to win in the NFL. Man, this is exactly what I was hoping for when Harbaugh came in. You got to win these games, and man, to sit there and do it on the road in a hostile environment. Let's be honest, there are 20 Charger fans in the crowd, you know, that get on, they go to Cleveland. Those Browns fans believe every single Sunday they're going to win, and they get there crazy early and they're loud as can be, and the whole deal with the dog pound. Man, the Chargers completely took them out of the game. Completely took them out.
It was great, man. And people will say Navarro Bowman deserves credit as well.
Dude,
I agree.
I love Navarro Bowman.
Says that. Dude, Navarro Bowman's one of my favorite players ever. Obviously, he got overshadowed because of Patrick Willis. He was great in his own right. And he's really good on the Raiders, too. People forget about that.
He was.
He was really good
on the Raiders. His career ended. That guy loved football.
And you remember the Chargers got Thomas Davis? And you're like, I wish we got more of these guys. Like legendary guys.
True.
I just love
100% right. Guys that just wanted to be out there, would play forever if they could.
Football guys. And you're talking about buying into the culture. This is game, was it 7, 8 of the season? We're halfway through the season. This was game 8. I think this is how long it takes really to buy into a culture, like a system. Dave said it looked like guys want to be out there playing. I mean, you say that because that's how it should be, but it's not how it is. I mean, as Charger fans, you've seen that many times where it looks like guys are just going through the motions. Guys absolutely look like they want to be part of this Chargers team. Dan Campbell, I think, is a great example. For me, a head coach can only be really smart, like a game plan type guy like Sean McVay or LaFleur, or a motivator like Jim Harbaugh or Dan Campbell. If you're in the middle like Dennis Allen, I think there's no role for you to be a head coach in the NFL. You have to be one or the other. The Chargers have one of the best motivators in football, we're talking about college football, NFL, and Jim Harbaugh. If you can have guys buy into your system in year one and make the playoffs, huge success. Huge success. Mario, before I pass it off to you, people are calling for Miami Dolphins players. They lost today. Their season's pretty much over. Jalen Waddle's out there. Raheem Mostert's out there. Would you go for either one of those guys?
I think I'd go for it, but I really don't think they're gonna sell it all. I would be shocked to my core if the Dolphins are selling on Monday or on Tuesday. I think they're a team that's going to keep everyone together, and they're going to convince themselves that if Tua was healthy all year, they would be winning this division. I think that's the thing they're selling to each other, and I think it's more of this team's looking at like we have a coaching problem, not a personnel problem. I think Mike McDaniel's seat's getting pretty warm right now. And you kind of mentioned as a coach, you're a motivator or you're kind of like a schemes guy that's just the massive game planner. Mike McDaniel's very flashy and very fun. Let's just be honest. He's a fun coach. And I think we hyped him up too much. And now we're seeing it, Dave, where he's really not that good of a head coach. And maybe he will be someday, Dave. But, like, I don't know. Do you see that? Like, I just maybe think he wasn't ready yet.
Bring him to LA. Bring him to LA.
Bring him to – oh, my God, yes. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I watched that game, the majority of that game. I disagree. If I ran the Miami Dolphins, there's a lot of money, man, tied up in big contracts on that team, right? Tyreek Hill makes a ton of money. They just gave Jalen Ramsey a ton of money.
And they just extended Hill too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's so much money involved in this team. That team is as good to me as Tua is. If you look at Tua's stats today, dude, they're very good. I think it was 25 at 28 or 26 at 28. Had a much better quarterback rating than Josh Allen did. I said to you before the game, the Dolphins don't play well in Buffalo. Today was a game they should have won. The play that, again, Buffalo won it right at the very end. I think it was the last second field goal, but if you look at the play that led to the pass interference, dude on Miami's running, and the guy on the Dolphins reaches out, grabs his arm, spins him around like he's square dancing. I mean, obvious hold. It was ridiculous. But then the flag is down the field on the pass, not on the hold, and then Buffalo wins. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're like, this is ridiculous. I'm going to go out and strangle a real dolphin. I'm so pissed right now. That it was one of those. But I think the Dolphins, you look at what they have and the money tied up in that team. If Tua wants to keep playing and he's healthy, I think they are a dangerous team. But to sit there and blow it up and fire the coach, I wouldn't fire McDaniels. I wouldn't. Just my opinion. I think they have to show their fans to what they are. They're 2-6 on the year. You can trade those guys at the end of the season if that's what you believe and get your draft picks. Then, you could.
Would you bring back Greg Roman?
I'll reserve that till later. I mean, again, just like I said, I'm giving a lot of guys time. I keep thinking their guy's better than Greg Roman, but at the same time, dude, look what he has. Look what he has to work with. I mean, Justin Herbert, as someone wrote in the chat, I'm sorry I didn't get your name on here. I got it at the time, and that was 20 minutes ago. It just says Justin Herbert's making Greg Roman look as good as he is. None of us wanted Greg Roman. Let's be honest. The three of us didn't want him. A lot of Charger fans didn't want Greg Roman. He must be a hell of a guy, dude, with an RV in a parking lot. He must be fun as hell to hang out with because Jim loves him. But otherwise, no, I would have wanted someone that had a better imagination. But in all honesty, there aren't a lot of weapons there.
Yeah, there's not. I think he's making the most with what he has. I'm still not a fan of Greg Roman, but it could be worse. I thought Lombardi was worse, to be honest, and we had more weapons out there than he was. You want to get to some of the star chats tomorrow?
Yeah, let's go. Let's hit it, baby. Again, shout out to Bald Bolt. That's awesome. And when I'm, having a couple pops, that's gonna be a fun game of saying, hey, who can say Bald Bolt? Bald Bolt. So shout out to you. I'll visit Switzerland one day, maybe.
I actually want to go to Switzerland pretty bad.
A friend of mine just got back 2 days ago. She said it was awesome.
Some people say it's the most beautiful country, honestly.
Yeah. It's golf courses, right? That's where the course is, right? I think.
I don't know. I'm not going for golf.
That was a bad question to ask us three,
I don't golf either.
Yeah, I would know it's golf.
All right. Next one comes from Constellation Pegasus. This is more geared towards Dave. 1999. That's very generous. Thank you so much. It says McConkey is another Charlie Joyner. Dave, What do you think about that?
Charlie Joyner was an interesting guy. All right. You guys don't know who Charlie Joyner is, do you?
I know who he is. I just never watched
Okay.
him play,
So
obviously.
Charlie Joyner, Mario, was what they would consider a possession wide receiver. You know, he was the Chargers always had these wide receivers that were ridiculous. John Jefferson. Do you guys know the name John Jefferson? Like when John Jefferson was with the Chargers, John Jefferson was the most exciting wide receiver in the league. And then there's a contract dispute. They end up trading him to Green Bay. Green Bay's like, man, we got John Jefferson and we got James Lofton. Watch this. But the quarterback was Lynn Dickey. Terrible. Very first game, John Jefferson's with James Lofton, and they're talking the dream team, and they introduce James Lofton, and they go up and they high-five each other as introductions. And as soon as they hit hands, they wipe out, land on their backs in front of freaking 70,000 people. Embarrassing as hell. But John Jefferson was the guy. Still, Charlie Joyner was there. So John Jefferson's gone. Chargers make a deal with the Saints. They bring in Wes Chandler. Wes Chandler was great. The Chargers fleeced the Saints twice. They got Chuck Muncie. Like Saints had like 3 players. They had Archie Manning. They had Chuck Muncie, running back, who used to smoke cigarettes leaning against the goalpost during practice. And then they had they had Wes Chandler. Wes Chandler, if you remember the Karate Kid, he's wearing a Wes Chandler jersey when he gets the crap kicked out of him by those kids and the Karate Kid. Great player. Still, the most consistent receiver was Charlie Joyner. He was your possession guy, and guess what? He's in the Hall of Fame, and his number 18 is retired. Underrated as hell. Most people, unless you were a fan of the Bills or the Chargers, you don't even know who Charlie Joyner is, but he was a great player.
Who is better, Charlie Joyner or Keenan Allen?
Oh,
I take Keenan Allen. Charger fans are going to freak out that I said
Keenan
that.
Allen's not going to make the Hall of Fame.
He's not going to make the Hall of Fame. It's I go Charlie Joyner was the guy. He was a wide receivers coach when he retired too. Had that dumb face mask, the kind of like you'd buy at Sears and stuff when you bought the helmet that they say on the sticker. Do not use this helmet in a real game.
Yeah. It's so funny you brought that up. I literally talked about that with a friend the other day where I was like, I remember my playing tackle football for the first time.
Yeah.
And when you get like a real helmet and you put it on and you're like, oh my God, this thing weighs 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean? Like it's so heavy.
Yeah. No, but diehard Charger fans will tell you Charlie. Some will say, will disagree with me. People older than me will say Charlie Joyner is better than Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen I thought was better.
He's my favorite Chargers receiver of all time. Next one comes from Sean Bergen, 490.
Real quick, before you get to Sean's question, all right, Sean, appreciate it. I'm going to cut you off. Got to ask you guys this. The NFL is always about, the logo, and, there's a penalty if you take your helmet off on the field for a reason. The NFL wants the franchise to be first. They don't want an NBA situation where it's the player over the logo. I'm watching Chris Olave get hurt today, like really bad in the Panthers game. And I was thinking of, and then I'm watching Michael Thomas lose his mind on social media. And I'm thinking, I was in my head, Marcus Colson's like, calm down. You see, you aren't coming back. Like, Joe Horn. I started thinking of old Saints wide receivers. Like how good is your guys' memory? I'm older than both of you, and I always think I can't remember anything. But how good is your memory when you think of players that used to be on teams just a few years ago of going, God, I don't even think about those guys anymore because the NFL's done that good of a job of you focusing just on the logo and knowing the uniforms, that kind of a deal. Like when I say Marcus Colston or Joe Horn, like those names sound familiar even to you? And that was
I know. Yeah, I know. What about Jarvis Landry? He was on the Saints a few years ago. He's out of the league.
Yeah.
There's tons of guys like that.
Now we're just playing name game.
Yeah, it just seems so fast that guys are in and out of the league, and the league wants you to forget about them as fast as you can.
Michael Thomas made it easy. Michael Thomas went after his quarterback, and right after he went after Drew Brees, he disappeared. So, yeah. Michael Thomas. I mean, I'm surprised not in the league, but whatever. All right, for Sean's comment, $4.99. Chargers won, and I closed a $10,000 deal today. Good job.
Nice.
Let's go
on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Right, don't stop.
Making money. Bolt the F up.
Did you just steal from the church? What did happen?
Dude, do we have to put you in time
10 grand on a Sunday?
Yeah,
you're a gambler.
Do we have to put you on a word count?
Are you drinking bourbon again? Dude,
Me?
calm down.
No, I drank all my whiskey on the World Series.
Okay. Sean Bergen, we're going to start over. Try not to cut me off this time. $4.99.
Right.
Chargers won, and I closed a $10,000 deal today. Bolt the F up. Love the pod. And to be honest, I don't think Charker's a real person at this point. We're going to give away a reward. If anybody can capture a picture of DJ Chark in Chargers gear, you're going to get an undisclosed prize from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loch Ness Monster, DJ Chark, or Bigfoot. Any of those three. Tooth Fairy counts too. Go
Santa
ahead.
Claus.
That's fine. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, whatever.
I'll be the first to wish you guys happy holidays.
Do you have any thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh, we got a couple more. We got a couple more real quick.
Oh, we do? Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Mike G, $5. Thank you, Mike. I'm still waiting for us to play a complete game. I'm also sick of the penalties. I thought Jim Harbaugh would have us more disciplined.
We're never going to play a complete game. I just want to let you guys know. We aren't. Mike, you're one of the better people on this show and always have some smart to say. Come on. The Chiefs aren't going to play a complete game tonight. They never do, right? Nobody plays a complete game. There's always something. I'm the most negative person on the planet, according to everybody else. But I'm telling you right now, we are never going to play a more complete game than what we played today. We just aren't. Penalties are going to happen, especially until you have the Chiefs in your back. I mean, the refs in your back pocket like the Chiefs do. It's going to happen all the time. Jim Harbaugh is saying a more disciplined team. I think that will come when you get the better players. We just don't have the star players. I still say, guys, you tell me if I'm wrong. In 3 years, we're going to look back at this roster and go, holy yes. It's a miracle that we won as many games as we did.
I agree 100%. I think we're definitely going to feel that way. All right, next one. This is interesting because he got fined. Matthew Dahl, $4.99. Thank you, Matthew. Bolts up. NFL is a joke for not suspending Saints defensive linemen. Glad we are now in second place of the division. So if you guys didn't see, Nathan Shepard of the Saints, the one that tried to injure Justin Herbert, was fined, I believe, $11,000. Bradley Bozeman was fined $0. So you can look at that two different ways. You can say, well, that's good. Bozeman wasn't, he wasn't fined because he was sticking up for his quarterback, and Shepard was. Shepard should have been suspended. I agree with Matthew 100%. When you try to go out of your way to hurt somebody that's not even football, you're literally just trying to hurt somebody, you have to get suspended. You have to draw the line as the NFL and say, this is not acceptable.
It's insane that the NFL we can talk about this on Tuesday because I have a lot to say on this. The NFL is confusing me really badly right now, and it's making me angry, Dave. It might be a Dave rant where I'm gonna send you everything I'm gonna say. I'm gonna text it to you, and you're gonna AI it. You're gonna AI Dave it, and then you're gonna say it. I'll be your ghostwriter.
Okay. Here's what I'm curious about, because I just took a shot at the Chiefs 5 minutes ago. There are certain teams in the league that you feel like the NFL looks out for, right? Let's be honest. We feel like the Chiefs always get a break. The 49ers get a break. We just see things all the time that you shake your head. Look, this is not a political thing because we always stay away from politics on the show. And I understand there's a big election Tuesday. Don't sit there and say anything to me either way, which way. We always try and stay away from politics on the show. But Nick Bosa is the one that brought politics into an NFL field the other day. Where's the suspension on this? This is not something to me taking a side. This is literally in the NFL rules. Is it because it's the Niners that everyone's quiet, or is it because the Niners aren't playing right now? I mean, in the next week, does he get punished? What happens to Nick Bosa? Because it is literally in the rule book about bringing certain items on the field that are supposed to be against NFL rules, unless they're NFL approved. What happened here? Seriously. So you just what I'm saying is, hey, if it counts for the Chargers or counts for the Saints, it should count for the Chiefs, and it should count for the 49ers and whatever other team that the NFL loves today.
I agree with Dave. It feels like teams like the 49ers and the Chiefs, although in the Steelers, Packers, even the Raiders, Cowboys, teams that have these big brands, the players on their team have to do more egregious things to get suspended and fined. That's just how it is. Teams like the Chargers, Saints, all the teams with the smaller fan bases, they're the ones that get penalized for the most part. I think we have another comment here from Michelangelo Medina, hell of a name, $4.99.
Dude, that is a hell of a name.
Dude,
Great
and
name.
he likes you. He says, I keep saying this over and over. Dave Palais needs his own show on ESPN. He tells it like it is, good or bad. Quit sleeping on him. Who's sleeping?
I don't ever know.
Yeah, who's sleeping on you?
I'm wide awake.
ESPN executives are sleeping on you, apparently.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. That's very nice. The name is sweet as hell, dude. It sounds like it belongs in a Tone Loc song. I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great name. Probably the greatest name we have.
Yeah. There you go. That's good.
It's going to be named my first kid now.
He did work at ESPN, by the way.
I did for 30 years, but I didn't have my own show. I was just a reporter.
What would be the name of your show?
I don't know. I like working with you guys. I like working with people to talk to that let me rant. You guys roll your eyes at me. That's fine. Lets me know there's a balancing board that I get a little bit crazy sometimes. But I like talking to people. It's weird doing a show by yourself. You know, in radio and all this, and there's something else I'll be doing in the near future. It's not football, but I'll let you know. But I have to do it by myself, and I'm not looking forward to doing it by myself. It's like imagine if I walked into a bar or a restaurant right after this, and I just spoke for 1 hour straight of everything that was said on the show by myself, not talking to anyone else, just sat there. You guys would call the cops and say this guy needs to be put in a 5150 hold. He's out of his freaking mind. He's talking to himself. Guys who do shows solo is weird as hell to me. Your brain's not supposed to work that way. You're supposed to talk to another human being, at least one. But to sit there by yourself for an hour and rant, I'm like Greg Roman looking at that camera all shady, like I'm a Naked and Afraid. What the hell?
You talk really deep. That's insane.
Next one comes from Ricardo. Ricardo Sotoson, $5. Thank you, Ricardo. Says we are halfway through this season, and we have already won as many games as we did last year. Laugh out loud. That is crazy. I didn't even realize that. We have 5 wins now. We had 5 wins last year. Is that crazy? Halfway done. Are you guys still standing by your prediction of I think 10 wins, 11
Don't
wins?
even get to me. Stand? Mine's embarrassing.
What do you have, like 13?
13.
I got 13. It could happen. Yeah. Hey,
it could happen.
The Titans. Next week we should have double as many wins as losses, knock on wood.
Yeah, I got 13. Mario, what did you have? Do you remember?
10? I think I had 10.
I got it written down, dude.
11.
Hold on, I'm gonna get this thing. Give me a second here. We went kind of high. What would Mario? Do you remember what Vegas said was the over under?
9.5.
8. Is it 9.5? 9.5, right? No, 8.5. It was 8.5.
Was it 8.5? Okay.
It was 8.5.
They're gonna clear that, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you go. I got it. I had 13. I had 13 and 4. Sounds so crazy. I had 13 and 4. Josh had 11 and 6. Mario had 10 and 7.
Yeah.
I feel good about my number. I feel good about my number.
Same.
Yeah, I don't, but I tell you right now, if I'm right, everyone's gonna love me. Including people in that Charger front office who hate me.
Love you.
Yeah, you guys, people in the Charger front office won't even let me in the goddamn stadium.
How many wins do you need to win to make the playoffs?
10.
10?
You think 10? I say 9.
10 to be safe.
Well, safe is 13. But I mean, you don't think 9 gets you in?
No.
I think 9's tough.
Not in the AFC.
Okay.
You got the Titans. Remaining schedule real quick. Titans, Bengals, Ravens, Falcons, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Broncos, Patriots, Raiders. You got to win those last 2 against the Patriots and the Raiders. Have to.
Dude, Patriots just lost in overtime today. Raiders look terrible against Cincinnati. Raiders will get worse every single week, by the way. Mm-hmm. They're that team I was talking about. What?
They put in Ritter today.
Yeah. Raiders are done. Raiders are just done. The Raiders eventually management. Tom Brady's like, no plane flights for these guys. We're getting tandem bikes for the team, and 2 guys have to pedal all the way back to Las Vegas. This is ridiculous that I'm paying for airfare and hotels for these guys. The Raiders are a disaster. The Titans, who I thought were a disaster, were in the last play of the game. May ran around like for 8 seconds, clock's at 0, and he just rifles one, floats it up in the end zone, and the Patriots catch it to push the game to overtime. Now, why wouldn't the Patriots just go for 2 right then? The Titans were exhausted as hell by chasing everybody around for 10 seconds. And why wouldn't you just go for 2 instead of playing to go to overtime if you're the Patriots? I didn't understand any of that. Yeah, so
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those guys were playing for the number 2 draft pick is what they were playing for. They both needed to lose. And then before we go, Green Bay's playing Detroit right now, and St. Brown walks in with a sweatshirt that says Green Bay sucks as he walks in the stadium. He catches the very first touchdown for the Lions. I'm like, oh, you guys showed him. How dare he wear that sweatshirt? No, you let him score the first touchdown. Green Bay's wearing those stupid uniforms with just the all-yellow helmet, nothing on them. Like, hey, I need you guys to buy your own helmet this week. There's a sporting goods store downstairs, but we aren't going to sit there and put any logos on it. And, hey, guys, we don't have any money, like the high schools that have no money. So we're just going to go with a 1-color number. That's it. So we're just going to put a yellow number with no outline or anything on these jerseys and see how this looks. This is the NFL. What are you guys doing? Get your ass together.
It's literally like the high school team that they're going into their first scrimmage and they don't have
Yeah.
all the stickers yet for all the
Yeah.
players. So all like
Dude.
the freshman team all have just like
100%.
helmets with no stickers. That's what
Yeah.
that is.
It looked like, no offense, it looks like the school that can't afford anything. I don't understand. The NFL is supposed to, you look at the uniforms, you're going, man, that's why the NFL's NFL. Their uniforms are cooler than any other college or high school. And no, it's just like trashy as hell. And then we'll play like trash. Yeah, I think you got one more super chat came in.
Hey, you like that, Mario? One more.
I love it. I love it.
Gold
get
Teeth
murdered
Food
by
Productions,
another.
$5. Thank you. He said, I was told in this Facebook sports group I'm in that I was delusional for saying Harbaugh would have our defense looking like he did in San Fran. Laugh out loud. Dude, I was probably the guy that told you you're delusional. I'll be honest. I was that guy. I didn't believe in it. I've seen this defense. Jesse Minter. I'm pretty sure I told you could turn wine into water. Or water into wine, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's his birthday on the 25th.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
That was funnier than you guys gave that, if I had to be honest.
Sorry, I missed it. I
not
thought
in-
you meant this
I mean, it's
month. I
not
didn't
this
realize
month.
you're talking Christmas. Yeah, you threw me off.
Yeah. What's November 25th?
Yeah, what the hell are you
I
talking
didn't think about that. Oh, it's
Yeah.
the wrong month. Oh.
It's all right.
Damn.
All right. Mario has
Hey,
a
use
family
that line in a
gathering.
month. We'll hold.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. All right, Mario has a family get together. I have things to do as well. Not really, but thank you guys. Appreciate Dave. Sign us off.
All right, so here's the deal, man. I didn't ask you the whole show, but if you get an opportunity, please please subscribe to the show. It was a good day. Today's one of those days I was talking about. When you wake up tomorrow morning, the first thing you're going to think about is the Chargers won yesterday and had a great Sunday. This is what we're talking about. We're going to be back on Tuesday, 1 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to be talking Charger football again. Be on cloud 9 still as far as what happened. Look, it's just the Browns. You can say whatever you want. An NFL wins, an NFL win. And guess what? We're on the right side of it. We feel better than those losers in Cleveland. I'll tell you that right now. All right. Yeah. We'll be back on Tuesday getting ready for the big game against the Titans come to town. Better win that one. And we'll break it all down for you. But again, thank you to everybody that participated. And the super chats were insane today. Can't thank you guys enough. That was awesome. So for Mario Heron, Josh Palais, I'm Dave Palais. We'll see you Tuesday, 1 o'clock Pacific time. Take care.
Bald Bolt Man.